Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be sharing a little bit about what you could do if you want to go ahead and prepare yourself to buy a home. Depends, on your own timing and when you're ready to make that step. I really do want to go ahead and share with you guys a little bit of my knowledge. By no means, little disclaimer, big disclaimer actually. So by no means am I gonna cover everything that you can possibly know or need, because I do not know everything myself. So I'm the type of person, I like to ask questions. If I don't know something, I'm going to ask. I learn something new every day. I am in the real estate business. So go ahead and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're buying a home, you basically want to take a lot of things into consideration. And one of the most important ones is how much you can afford, right? Because you're going to have a mortgage payment every month. And on top of that, you have property taxes as well twice a year. And you pay for those property taxes. So there's a lot of things that come into play and options when it comes down to loans, but the two most frequently used ones are FHA and conventional loans. All right? And FHA and conventional. FHA is for first-time home buyers. The term FHA means Federal Housing Administration. And typically it's used for first-time home buyers. And then we have just a conventional one, which after, you have owned your first property, you can't, really go with FHA anymore. You'd go with conventional. Typically for FHA loans, you have to put down a 3.5% down, a 3.5% down. And normally for conventional, it can be, it can range from like 10% to 15%. 15% kind of being the highest. I believe I've also seen conventional loans sometimes, depending on, every lender's different. So, even 10% sometimes it's a little high for conventional loans. I've seen them go a little bit lower than that percentage, but this is just kind of your typical, what you pretty much kind of see. I'm going to just put a number out there for a house. So one thing I do just quickly want to mention is that I feel like we've all been there. That's why. We've all been in Google, and we've all searched up, we've all been to Zillow, we search up these like beautiful houses, beach and, by the mountains. And these houses are above like 900,000, right? They're beautiful houses. And you're just like, oh my God, it must be so nice to live there. And a lot of the times I honestly would just sit there and be like, how much does it really cost to live there? I honestly thought that it was like a ridiculous amount of money, right? And by all means, knowing all of this, when you know a lot of this information and you kind of put two and two together, or, you just become you start retaining information about all of this. It's so cool because you start to kind of applying numbers. What I was getting at with that is that, we've all looked at houses on Zillow, and all of that. And don't get me wrong, it's amazing, because one day you want to envision yourself living there, or one day you really want to make that a dream of yours. And you know what I'm gonna wrap that all with is that it's obtainable. You just have to really prepare yourself to get there. It may not be, in the next month or the next year, but maybe 3-5 years down the line, you never know. It can happen. A little rant right there, but okay, back to the topic. This video purpose, I'm gonna go ahead and use the FHA one. So let's say that there's a property that is $300,000. So it's $300,000. For down payment is 3.5%. What I'm looking at for my down payment alone is about $10,500, right? And this is just for your down payment. And then later on, this is just for your down payment, not including closing costs. Closing costs, I put this right here at the little bottom because I knew I was gonna have a hard time remembering all of these terms, but they're in my mind. Closing costs are it can range about 2.5% to 3% of your purchase price, which in this case would be the $300,000, right? So that includes basically your underwriting fees, your title search, home warranty, inspection, and appraisal, and also transfer tax. So Normally, okay, so closing costs, if it's about 2.5% to 3%, on this, looking at about an additional $9,000 just in closing costs. And keep in mind too, you are in contract and you are locked in a home, sometimes you can get credits. So you can either sometimes get lender credits or you can also get a seller credit. What that means is that let's say, I'm just gonna give you guys a quick reference. So for example, in my particular case, in my particular experience, I believe after the inspections, there were a few things that were brought up, and some other thing, minor things, nothing, crazy where there was no light or anything in the house, but I basically got a credit for $2,000. So the idea is that I'm gonna go ahead and use that money to make those fixes to the home so that, it's no longer an issue. So things that are not necessarily they have to give it to you. It's more so coming to an agreement and having it be an option there. Costs and all that, that's kind of what you're looking at for. And keep in mind, this is all, in regards to this purchase price. All purchase prices, all the numbers are going to fluctuate and look a little bit different. But you're about $20,000 to $25,000 just in complete, like down payment included, all your closing costs, complete your transaction pretty much. Now I want to get into the topic of things that you should do to prepare if you want to go ahead and start that process. So one of the first things that you want to do is build your credit. And you basically need credit in this world to do a lot of things. Is vital just to basically, not even just for a house, if you want to purchase a car, or a lot of the time, sometimes when you even want to, obviously when you want to get loaned money, they want to make sure that you have credit history so that they can actually see like, oh yeah, this person's gonna repay it back type of thing. So you do just want to go ahead and start building on your credit, and if by all means you've already been doing that, then you're on the right track. That ties in with your credit is paying off high debt. So it's normal and it's normal and it's okay if you have debt. We all have debt. I have credit cards, we all have debt pretty much. The lender works a little different, but for them, I'm going to be looking at your debt to income ratio, and that plays a big part of it because you don't want to be saturated with crazy amount of debt and expect to really have a lender want to loan you, this big amount for a property. That is not bad. Like I said, we all have it. Aside from building your credit, you want to go ahead and find a lender. So there's a lot of lenders out there, and you need to get pre-qualified, meaning that you're going to get a list of things that that the lender is going to be needing in order to basically pre-approve you. And that process, can take up to a couple weeks. It could take a couple days. It all depends on how fast you can gather all of this information. And another fun little fact, interesting, once you start, once you really buckle down, once it actually, you feel like you're ready to talk to a lender and you're getting pre-qualified, because the things that the lender normally requires from you are tax returns from either 1 to 2 years prior, full credit report. So they basically, do a credit pool on your credit. Another one is 2 to 6 months of bank statements. So it's basically, like all your transactions, like all the times you're swiping your debit card and the balances that you keep in your account. They do want to go ahead and see that. If you want to prepare yourself to be in that position to start getting pre-qualified and all of that good stuff, you want to make sure that you have money marinating in your account, at least for a couple months. You want to make sure that that money has been sitting there, and it's either, like let's say direct deposit, or you have a business, or all that money is being tracked for. So once you submit all your documentation to the lender, and once they pre-approve you, that's when you can start looking at homes. To use a real estate agent, when you're buying a house, you do not pay anything. So typically the way that it works is that the seller is basically the one being both parties, both agents representing each party. So typically when you're buying a home, it's free to use a real estate agent. Once you start looking at houses, be prepared for other people like yourself, all excited, to also be looking at the same properties and also potentially be interested in also making an offer. So that's when the patience and all of that comes into play, because you're gonna see a lot of properties, and a lot of the time, it may take more than a month. For myself, it took, I want to say, about 3 months, almost 2.5 months. I would say 2.5 months for me to, get into contract. And I remember that I didn't look at a crazy amount of houses. I believe I looked at about three houses, and then I stumbled across this one where I'm at now. But I remember that in all the other ones, I was super shocked when I had known there were 20 offers on that house, expecting that, to be honest. But, just be prepared for a bit of competition out there with other people that want to, that also see themselves living in that home as well. So after you look at homes and you make offers, you're going to make countless offers. And if you're lucky enough to make your first one and you actually get it, which can happen too. I mean, who's to say it can't? But once you look at properties and you go ahead and get into contract, that's when all starts to roll. And it starts to roll pretty fast, because the process normally for closing on a property is about 30 to 60 days. It can actually go up to 90 days as well. And all of those are terms that go in a contract, and it all just depends, on how fast everything moves. And for the most part, when, it involves the lender on the buyer side, they have to just make sure that everything that they're requiring is to basically the exact cent. If you're really trying to make that happen for yourself, then I would definitely recommend talking to a lender and just getting more information. And not even that, you can also reach out to a real estate agent, like I said, and ask them questions. I hope that you got something out of this video. I did jump into, how much money you're gonna need, because in all reality, I mean, you are gonna need this amount, you're gonna need X amount of money in order to get into that house. And the way to look at it is, you need money basically for everything, but making a purchase as big as wanting to buy a home, you want to make sure that you're prepared, and that that it comes with a lot of responsibility. And I know most of you guys that are watching obviously have a whole bunch of responsibilities, because we all have so many responsibilities, and that's just the fun of it all. It'll never stop. It never stops. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys found something in this video that you can apply, or that you took from this video. And if you have any questions, or if I wasn't clear on something, or if you just want a little bit of more clarification, or if you have something to add on, more than welcome to send me a message, send me a DM, and go ahead and ask me, and I will be more than happy to give you an answer or give you more clarification if need be. I wanted to make this video just to encourage you to, look at your different options that you have. Look at the bigger picture always. Everything is always attainable, and, you just have to go out of your way to reach out for those things. Yes, don't forget to subscribe if you didn't do it in the beginning of the video. And until next time, hope you guys have an amazing day every day, and I will see you guys in my next video.